Hey everyone, Ryan Larkin back with another edition of the Daily Fantasy Racing Quick Picks on the Mayo Media Network. Last week was a solid week for us. We hit on Chase Elliott winning, which was great. Corey LaJoie looked great as a value play, and Kurt Busch was actually doing solid as well until he got caught up in a late crash that involved Corey LaJoie as well. So did really, really good, and we finally had a fade of the week look bad and not deliver. So that felt great. Back on board with the fades of the week. So hopefully we can continue that success into this week as well. This week, the NASCAR Cup Series are at New Hampshire, another short, flat, 1 mile track on the schedule. Gateway, which we saw about a month ago, and Phoenix are going to be the best comparables. Richmond and Martinsville are also solid comparables if you're looking for that type of racing. Track position is everything at this track. It's going to be hard to gain track position on, during green flag racing. So definitely liking those drivers starting towards front, liking what we saw in qualifying and practice from guys with a lot of speed. If they had speed in practice, they're probably going to have speed in the race, and that's where we want to focus our attention. And 300 laps in this race, so lots of dominator points to be had, lots of laps led, fast laps to be gained, and we do see long green flag runs here. So typically we'll see a guy lead 100 laps. He may not win, he may finish 5th, 6th, 7th, but he has 100 laps in the bank and has a really good DFS score. So as always, we're setting up some plays for DraftKings. We'll be giving our dominator / potential race winner of the race, our tournament play, value play, and then fade of the week. So for this week, I'm going to start off with the dominator as always. I think Martin Truex starting first is a great option. Most of the time with this video, I go with the driver starting first, and that's simply because they have the easiest path. And it's still hard to pass the leader, which is always going to be a benefit to that driver starting first. The other reason I really like Truex, one, because this track's even more difficult to pass on than most, but because Truex across 2016 and 2018 in a 5-race span led 596 laps. The least amount he led in those 5 races was 83. So he was basically leading 100 laps a race, every race for 5 races. Then the car switch, and then like last year, we had a situation where it rained on lap 12 or whatever it was and wiped out Truex, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin, took out the 3 favorites for the win, and we never really saw what they were up to. So I think Truex putting the car on pole, that's a scary thought because Truex is never an elite qualifier. If he's starting up front, he has a good car. Easy path to leading early, can rack up some dominator points. Maybe he only finishes 5th, but if he has those stage 1 laps led in the bank, he can put up a great DFS score. Definitely a race-winning contender as well. So I really like Truex. I'm going to hammer that play in the hopes that he gets out early and we have a long green flag run and he chews up some laps led. Next up is going to be my tournament play at 11,000's Kyle Busch. Typically with tournament plays, I like to go a little bit cheaper and I like to not be as chalky, but Kyle Busch is just screaming to be the best play on the slate. So all the Toyotas are fast. Martin Truex is on pole. Bubba Wallace and Kurt Busch qualified well with 23:11. Christopher Bell's right up there as well. Kyle Busch was the fastest car in practice, but he had a bad qualifying run. He said he was chattering the front tires, just didn't get a good lap down. So I think Kyle Busch has a race-winning car. I think he's a guy that can lead a large chunk of this race. And starting 17th, he gives us some place differential upside to go along with that as well. Kyle Busch going from 17th to 5th, getting 20 fast laps, that's a good score. That's something we can live with. And then the upside from there is massive. So I really like attacking this play. It will be a bit chalky, but I do like attacking this play. I think his upside is way too good. He's pretty much been the most consistent guy speed-wise besides Ross Chastain for me this year. And I really, really like what he's got there. So the upside's too big. I think we got to attack this play in tournaments a lot. Next up, value play is going to be Chris Buescher. 6,100 for Chris Buescher, I believe. And a lot of attention is going to go to Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon starting 30th. He is the chalk play. Everyone's going to be on that. I like doing a direct pivot to Chris Buescher. They're right next to each other in price. Buescher starting 16th. He's probably going to see half the ownership. Maybe he sees a little bit more than half the ownership, but it's going to be substantially less than what Austin Dillon gives us. He was 7th in practice. His teammate Brett Keselowski was 8th in practice, and Keselowski qualified 9th. There was speed in those cars, and I think it's very reasonable that Buescher starts 16th, but ends up in that 8th, 12th range, putting up close to 40 points. I really like that. 1, because of what he can do on his own, but 2, because I think we can get some ownership leverage off the Austin Dillon chalk. Like I mentioned before, track position's everything, but not just that. If you don't have speed in practice and qualifying, you probably aren't going to have it in the race. I think there's a chance that Austin Dillon kind of busts in this race. and doesn't reach that upside that people are hoping for. And Chris Buescher can supersede him as a play. Lastly, my fade of the week is actually going to be two fades. I am fading Penske. So basically, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not fading Cindric, but I'm fading Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. Last time out at Gateway, the track that everyone was comparing this track, New Hampshire, to, these two guys were the fastest cars. Logano ended up winning. Blaney looked great. They both were really, really strong. And that led us to thinking they were going to be great this weekend. Well, they showed up. They were 24th and 23rd in practice. They start 11th and 12th. They're 10,800 on the Logano side, 10,000 at the Blaney side. They're expensive. And honestly, they don't seem to have the speed as Hendrick or any of the Toyota teams. They seem to be a step behind all those other cars, which basically puts them 10th to 12th in terms of potential dominator upside, potentially scoring a lot of points. If I don't think they can lead laps or get a bunch of fast laps at 10,800 or anything over 10,000, I don't like those plays. So I'm going to try to leverage the field. I think they'll get some ownership because of what they did at Gateway. And hopefully, if I'm right and they bust and they do not have great races, we can really gain some advantage on the field with those plays. That'll wrap it up for me. Hopefully you have some success. As always, whenever you're watching these videos, please like the video, subscribe to the Mayo Media Network, leave us a comment. If you think I'm crazy, let me know it. If you like the plays, let me know that as well. Definitely interact with us where you can. As always, you can follow me at Larkin8 on Twitter. DailyFanRacing.com is where you can catch all my content. And then, of course, just keep an eye on what the Mayo Media Network has coming down the road, because they got videos coming out all the time. So definitely subscribe and watch what they got. Appreciate it, guys.